Good morning. This morning we are in the northwest of China racing a 3 days criterium tour. All 4 Hong Kong blokes, and race starting in 1 hour. This is quite cold here, temperature around 9-10 degrees, and yeah, let's see. It's this is a short climb, 6 kilometers, 300 meters elevation, and yeah, let's see. The race is starting, so off we go. Don't ask me why I can be on the first row every time I race. Just get to the start line early. So you can see 2 Chinese guys already attacking, very typical Chinese racing. But because this peloton consists of like 3 Mongolia team and 3 Russian speaking team from Kazakhstan, Russia and Belarus, I believe. So pace is quite high now, around 50 kilometers per hour, and because it's a cold day, so everyone is running at relatively high cadence to keep the body warm up faster. And I don't know if you can tell from the video, but this segment of the race course is quite bumpy. On my right, just passed through the first attack of the race, and on the left of my camera, number 54, another fellow Hong Kong rider, a very decent pocket sprinter, but due to lack of training, he didn't perform really well in this race. So there's a hectic corner, first corner of the race. And this is gradient power climb, and Iranian rider attacking. I was trying to react, but I don't really want to hurt my legs, but nobody on my back is willing to do the work, so I just keep pedaling. You can see the road is concrete road and it's quite bumpy. Still chasing. You can see 300-400 watts here, and speed is not very high still, and yeah, I'm not pedaling. You can see from my shadow. I let go, then yeah, the teams are working, but no, oh, that's a small group went away, and I have to keep chasing because I've no idea what the chemistry in peloton was like. You can see another, and actually this guy just went past me. He won this stage, but obviously not in this breakaway attempt. And you can see I'm just holding my time trial position and trying to stay as relaxed as I could. Heart rate is quite high. Now peloton passing through me, and this is my teammate Victor Lau from Hong Kong, just retired from the Hong Kong national team earlier this year, and very good helper. And this is another teammate from Hong Kong, Ken Ho. He just came back from France, completing his 3-month summer training camp in France, and gained a lot of speed in his legs. And you can see now on my front with the yellow saddle, that's the world champion of junior track racing 2-3 years ago. Is a Mongolian. A very good. He just he took one of the most combative riders in this year's Tour of China 1. He soloed for the stage for 140 kilometers. So you can see the road is quite dangerous. There's a lot of potholes on the road and also sewage cover. Everyone is just testing, trying to see what's the ability of the other opponent in this race. Riders start to move up. Following my Hong Kong teammate Ken Ho. And now 3 of us is riding together. And now the race is all back together. There's no successive breakaway, and not long to go we'll be headed into the mountains. Not mountains, but a climb that's 6 kilometers long. That's what we were told before the race. This is the fourth teammate of mine, the yellow jacket. Very young kid, just 18 years old, former junior national champion on the road in Hong Kong. And a very composed peloton. It is quite scary when you're racing with a peloton that consists of riders from very northern countries like Russia, Kazakhstan, Mongolia. They are all immune to cold weather. They perform really well in cold conditions. But now you can see the sun is warming up. And the pace is gaining. So before today's race, we didn't even have a meeting about tactics, because we all know that it's quite a hilly course, so whoever can stay in the bunch, that depends on the ability. That's not much your teammate can help me. That's not much your teammates can help you. So, yeah. You can see we're heading out of the town slowly, and the road started to kick up a bit. There's a rider that I mentioned earlier, I think, in a race. It's called James. That's from Mongolia. The KOM-GC winner in the Tour of China won this year. And his ability to create a breakaway and then maintain the pace in the breakaway is like in another level. So actually a lot of potential rider here, they're just looking at him, waiting for him to go and hope on his wheel and then just follow his attack. Now one of the Mongolian military riders is attacking. There's a lot of riders that trying to bring the pace up. I'm losing more ground. Look at the Mongolian rider on my front, riding on a Giant TZR ISP, riding a massive gear uphill. Ooh, look at his muscles. Now a bunch of riders become a line of riders. Pace is quite high, you can see from the shadow. The riders on my front is losing ground. Now looking at each other. This is quite some serious pace already. That's 12 minutes into racing. Kazakhstan rider just moved from the right. And the Mongolian military rider riding a massive Zip 808 up this climb. Here's my teammate, the yellow jacket. He's called Ensign, very talented young rider. Pace is very steady, but it's also quite high. There's no option for me, just there, holding my breath, holding my position, keep pedaling and keep my pedaling as smooth as possible, reminding myself to synchronize my breath and my legs. You can see my teammate Anton is suffering, switching to an even heavier gear, and that's that's the last time I saw him in this stage. And my other teammate Kent just went past me. And funny is, the rider on my right is wearing the Novatech jersey. He's also our teammate from Darkart, but this race he's riding for another team. And the Mongolian track world champion, it's in front of me. Yes, and yeah, pace is again quite high. Let's do compose. And very happy to stay behind this Russian rider. like 2 meters tall. A very big unit that sheltered me from the wind ahead, although it's an uphill. And through the first crest. And everyone thought at this moment, oh, is that it? That's the 6 kilometers climb? Is that done already? So riders on the front is attacking because according to the race profile that the organizers provided, it's only 1 climb, 1 descent, and then it's a flat stage back to the town. And everyone's still together. This is a very, very cautious moment in the race that it finishes a climb that everyone is catching their breath and losing some focus, and everyone is still together. The bunch is still closely packed. Oh, I'm sorry, but Anton is back. So I was wrong. It's not what I remember that I saw him last time. It's not that climb because we are heading to another climb. And now you can see from the body language of every rider that this climb is gaining gradient, is getting steeper. Shaking and riding out of the saddle. You can see there's not much I can do with changing pace. So when the peloton accelerates, I am losing ground. It starts to hurt a bit. And more. Now you can just pray that the rider on your front, please don't break the chain, because I don't have the legs to bring it back. So for viewers using headphone, you can definitely hear me breathing so hard, but it's okay, it's fine. That's how I ride my bike. And sometimes my breath is so loud that the riders around me thought I'm actually dying, that they just want to get past me. So go ahead, I don't mind. See, I'm losing a lot of ground relatively. Even into the time trial position, because the road is flattening out. Focusing really hard at getting into the zone. Focus on the breathing, focus on the paddling, just lift the weight off the paddles, and pedaling hard on the other side. You can see the riders on my front, they start losing the paddling, they start to shake around, going all over the place. And now through the second crest, everyone's still back together. Another reason why I'm breathing so loud is because this is at altitude around 1,000 meters and the air is quite bad, the quality. An AQI of 7. The index is 7, I don't know the AQI level, I forgot. Sorry. And you see road keeps going up, and you can see I can't stay with that pace, and I'm actually dropped by the main peloton. But if you look at my speed and power, I wasn't really dropping back. It's just they are accelerating so hard. But I couldn't bring up the speed of my bike on climbs like this. Otherwise I'd blown my legs. You can see two riders is definitely dropped by the peloton. And I'm regaining place. Now catching the peloton back slowly. Well, it's one man, so I'm not catching the peloton back. I'm getting back into the peloton, I'm sorry. You can see I'm still some 50 meters away. Riders on my front is really suffering. You can tell from their body language. Heart rate is high, pace is high. Into the time trial position because the road is again flattening out. Upward shift, downshifting. Almost back in contact. Back into the peloton, and
it's a quarry.
Yeah, it's a quarry. It's like the first ever I've been to a quarry, well, except in Grand Theft Auto, but racing my bike in a quarry. Still going up. Oh, he's still here. Look at it, the Mongolian we talked about earlier. Riding a massive gear up this final climb. Squeezing the power onto the paddles. I need a recovery. That's what I said. That's who I want. And you can see, I'm not paddling, I'm just freewheeling because the legs are hurting so much. And this descent is actually quite speedy. So bits of information. There are already 5 riders into a breakaway that is 1 minute ahead at this point. And this is only 24 minutes into the race. And that breakaway group is consisted of 1 Chinese rider and 2 Mongolia rider, 1 Kazakhstan rider and 1 Russian rider. Now I'm into the Aerotuck, the Chris Froome Aerotuck, gaining speed. This is very scary speed. Breathing so hard, I'm still adjusting my rhythm, but it's all under control. Iranian attacking. I don't want an attack, I just want to bring the pace up and everyone works together as a group to bring the breakaway back. You can see there's another small crest to hit it, and I am again losing ground. You see they're actually pumping a lot of watts up this small short climb, and I really don't like it. Style of racing. I really can't ride fast, changing a lot of pace on the climbs. So whether Hin is dropped or not depends on how well I hold my own power throughout the course and how the chemistry is about inside the peloton up ahead. So it's quite lucky for me this time. Still haven't dropped. Okay, I'm breathing very hard. You can tell from my cadence, and look at my shadow. My upper body is not composed anymore. And every time there's somebody accelerating, attacking in the front of this peloton, I lose some ground. You can hear me breathing very hard. And through the crest, now we're going to a long descent. in this descent we hit 84 kilometers per hour for over 10 seconds. The gradient is good, the road surface is good, everyone is going very, very fast. Not afraid of descending very fast in very high speed, but I am afraid of riding with a bunch of unknown riders in a descent at very high speed. You don't know what's the line they're going to cut. Look at the riders on my right, it's coming out. Leveling out and is even kicking up. Look at this Mongolian rider. Just bring up some cadence, man. Shouting, just trying to motivate this group of rider. Don't let anyone go away, because that's it. If you let somebody go and keep looking at each other, they will make it back to the finish. Bringing up the pace. I don't actually like attacking on each other. Wow, there's a bunch of riders already ahead for like 1 minute gap in between them. And you can see this rider. They've absolutely no cooperation at all. The riders in the front, he has one teammate in the breakaway, and everyone just let him control the pace, bring the pace down. That's why I'm going at a faster pace again. road, I can't do much about it. It's very, very windy, and the gradient is not going down too much, so again everyone's just looking at each other, waiting for the one to go for the breakaway. Now Japanese rider is attempting. And if you watched my race vlog from the Shanghai video, the rider just in front of me from Interpro Cycling is a former Chinese national team rider, and he actually won one stage in this tour, this one. And again, I'm encouraging people, just making sound makes them feel nervous, and it worked. There's a bunch of riders attacking, bringing the pace up. Now I'm chatting with one of my old teammates, very, very decent Chinese rider. See, there's no organized work in front of this peloton. Now every single second the breakaway is gaining on this peloton is nearly hopeless to bring them back. Already halfway through the race course, we've done all the major climbs. Now the peloton is down to a scale of less than 40 riders. 5 riders in the breakaway. Nearly 2 minutes ahead at this moment. And at this point, I have already lost all of my teammates. And I'm trying to go for the breakaway, and then this Chinese rider just pushed me to the right most of the road. And whatever you want to lead a breakaway, go ahead. And here it is. There's absolutely nothing achieved. And I'm again keeping the pace high. Please, just somebody work with me. Try to bring the gap down. It's the first day of the 3-day tour. You don't want to suffer too much on the GC. You don't want to end up on the bottom of this results sheet. I'm actually doing quite a long turn this time, and again nobody's cooperating. I swing off, and still you can see, even when my pace went down, there's nobody trying to work with me. And they still are letting this rider controlling the pace. And this Chinese rider just want to go solo. Go ahead, go bring the 5 men back. Actually, this situation continues for quite a long time. So it could be boring for you viewers because you can't see the winner from this group, because they're not from this group, they're from a group of 5 working very, very hard together in the breakaway. And now you're watching the first angle inside the front of a peloton and an organized peloton. Now it's just riders on the front looking at each other. Everyone wants to go solo. It doesn't work like this. You have to bring it back, restore the game. And I'm encouraging all these people, just send one rider from the team to do it. It's impossible to bridge over to a 5-man breakaway because the 5-man break is so determined, and one team even have 2 riders in it. So come back later. this is the last 10 or so minutes of racing in a bumpy descent, and for the time I'm missing is actually more or less the same stuff happened. The rider's trying to go solo, not cooperating. Oh, there's a split. There's a split. Now every moment could be the move that lasts to the finish, so you don't want anyone to create a split in front of you. And I'm bringing it back. Crisis solved. Very, very bumpy descent. And again, all of the riders are watching at each other. There's no cooperation or organization at all. And from the first fast descent up to this point, none of the riders in this group has been dropped, which also indicates that the pace isn't high enough, and also indicates there's not enough cooperation inside this peloton. And I'm putting myself in the side of the peloton because I want to see what happened, and I don't want to be squeezed in the center of the peloton. I want to be at a place that I can attack or chase. Still no organizing at all. See, there's a lot of riders here just waiting for the breakaway. I'm sorry, waiting for the sprint to finish. They're all reserving energy for the sprint. None of them want to move anymore because the breakaway is so determined that they might be already inside the final kilometers by now. And I remembered at this very moment my legs feel alright, is recovered from the climbings, is not hurting a lot, and all I was thinking is, do I have a chance to go for a late breakaway or just a few seconds split from this peloton? I really don't want to go into a bunch sprint finish on bumpy road. You can see it's very, very bumpy. riders is really fighting for position, but most of the time it doesn't work because the pace is not high enough, so everyone could gain position from the back. Rider attacking. Pace is going up. This is quite serious moment. Now, inside the final 5 kilometers, I'm following a counter-attack by an Iranian rider, and we bridged over to the 3 breakaway attempt, and we just go. I ask him to go, 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 go. Even bringing up the speed, trying to split, just a few seconds of gap would be enough for us. There's only 3-4 kilometers left. It doesn't work because everyone has been looking at each other for so long that everyone has the energy to bring us back. But I haven't invested too much. I can still stay in the front of this peloton. And these riders, they just keep looking at each other. The peloton is due all together into the final few kilometers. Everyone is fighting for position. No one wants to be on the back of the group. And somehow there's a hectic moment because there's a very, very nasty section suddenly appeared. No one knows. It's going to be a gravel segment of around 500 meters. And if I know, I will attack later with the Iranian, save the energy for this bit, trying to maintain the gap, because it's very hard for the riders on behind to close the gap on the gravels. but none of us has ridden this course before. And this Mongolian is still here, on that giant, riding the massive gear. Wow, really wonder how many torques are in those crank. And you can see it's quite fast at this moment, because rider is attacking and it's a force flat pointing downwards. And this pace is genuinely high. That riders keep trying on the front. Because I am a relatively small guy at 60 kilo and I'm quite skinny. 170 centimeters, that makes me very, very hard when fighting for position with this stronger, taller rider. Now it becomes very unorganized in the front. Now, final 2 kilometers. There's a left-hander into the final straight. But the final straight is a very, very bumpy and nasty road. There's not much you can do. If you're not in the front, you're gonna end up exactly where you are in the peloton. And now everyone is sprinting towards the corner. And because it's so bumpy, so you can't actually choose your own line. All you want to do is just stay away from the bumpy parts. And already to the final straight, the last kilometer, and it is very bumpy, and because of that corner it's quite squeezed, so I lost some ground and I'm making it up now thanks to the unorganized bunch. I am still in touch. This is still the same peloton. And now everyone is fighting. There's no lead out, and still I can't see where the finish is. And so does this rider. So when I saw the finish, I start to bring up the speed, but there's not much left in the tank and my legs are dying. And on the line, that's the moment the guy on my right with the pink helmet took my 20th place, and I finished 21st place in the race, but there's no money. Kazakhstan, I teamed up in June this year. He won. It's a former Astana rider, and yeah, in this terrain they are just naturally good at it. And a Mongolian Jamba, and yeah, well, at least I finished in the peloton-ish. Let's see tomorrow.